company is called Tricella, and our first product is the pill box. And what makes our pill box smart is we have embedded sensors in there that can detect whether a person missed their pills or, more importantly, took the wrong pills. And we actually built the platform around the caregivers. So let's say my mother forgot to take her pills, I can actually get a notification and easily remind my mom, saying, "Mom, you gotta take your pills." So to show you what it looks like, if my mom took the wrong pills, we'll get a screen that looks like this, and within our app, we can text her, send her an audio message or a video message. Or if my mom says, "You know what, I actually took the pills directly from a bottle," I can hit "she took it," and it clears it in the history log, showing that she did indeed take the pills. And we actually can track history over time. We can actually export this through email as XLS or PDF format, or print directly from the app. So if she had a doctor's visit, she can actually bring her drug adherence log to the doctor.
Perfect. So what were the biggest challenges to developing your product and to starting your startup?
Well, this is actually my second startup. I'm very familiar with the hardware space. I used to work for a company called Foxconn that manufactures about 40% of all consumer electronics in the world. And I represented the mobile group. So with that experience, I was able to create my first startup called Fiode, which we did a wrist-worn device that can detect emotional susceptibility as well as judge how well your life support mechanism is doing. So I was in the wearable space, and I understood that the next trend was off-body metrics. I wanted to find a product that has a stronger correlation with health outcomes, and there's really nothing stronger than drug adherence. So the hardest thing was creating a pill box better than a regular pill box, just as a pill box. So this is a traditional, large capacity, arthritis-friendly pill box. You open it, it's relatively easy, but if you were to shake it or drop it, all the pills go scattering, and it's huge. Making our product very easy to open and robust enough so when you shake it or drop it, the pills don't go scattering was a huge challenge. And also, making the sensors waterproof was probably the biggest challenge we had. So we had to really explore different sensor technologies to achieve that. And next was building an app from the ground up. We didn't want to go with a flat design. We wanted to go with very strong visual cues with buttons that actually look like buttons. And, at a glance, users and caregivers understand what the message is about and how to respond to them.
So the app actually reminds you to take the pills too?
Yes, and if, let's say, my mother took the wrong pills, I'll get a warning message showing me that, hey, mom might have taken the wrong pills. You need to either text her, call her to verify she took the wrong pills or not.
Awesome. So what do you think are the key features to having a successful startup founding team?
I think it's a due diligence process. You can't just look at it as, I have a good idea, let's go. You have to look at it, okay, if I'm doing hardware, I have to understand supply chain management to the T. I have to understand my space better than anyone else. And most importantly, listen to the market. It's very easy to develop a good product. All you have to do is ask users, what do you want? And how much are you willing to pay for it? And if the opportunity is there for enough margin, then you figure out, how do I build this? And as you build it and constantly try to get user feedback on, is this something that you would like? Is there anything you would improve to the experience? Let the market define the product and make an industrial design attractive enough so it's not something that they would be potentially ashamed of. It's something that they'd be proud to display on their dining table.
Awesome. So how do you plan to bring your product to market and to reach a larger audience? What strategies are you going to implement?
So it's a four-pronged approach. Right now, we are actually at the tail end of our pre-orders. We're closing our pre-orders next week. Right now, the pre-order price is $54.99. After that is $74.99. We're shipping in about 6 weeks from now, and we are working with 2 strategic retail partners to help build up that brand equity. We can't really say who it is at the moment, but they are the premium retailers in the world that can help Tricella, you know, define our brand in the market space. And after we get more brand awareness, then we'll cast a broader net.
So what do you think is how do you achieve brand awareness on a startup, especially, let's say, in hardware, in your case?
Well, TechCrunch disrupt, right? So that's one of them. A lot of people, they see that I do hardware. They'll say, hey, do Kickstarter. But the challenge with doing Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaigns is you have to make sure that the product resonates with that audience, which is the early adopter audience. I didn't feel that my product was a good fit. I think if anything, it would have hurt me more than it will help me. Because if I don't raise, let's say, $2 million on Kickstarter, the retail channel will use it as a point of reference and say there's just no demand, which is not true because it's not a good reflection of the market demand. It's a very different market. So it's really, connecting with the right people in the industry that will help advocate the brand, that will help promote it with no strings attached, pretty much.
Awesome. What's the size of your team?
So we have about 18 people, and 3 in the US, about 15 in Asia, because we're heavy in manufacturing, so a lot of it is the supply chain management, and it just makes more sense to have them on the ground in Asia, especially the engineering team.
So if you were to start a startup tomorrow, what would you put in your key, what would be the key elements of your startup founding team?
I would say everybody has to be jack of all trades, but has to have a specific strength that outshines each co-founder. So I am a single-founded company because unfortunately I haven't found anybody that I want to be co-founders with. But it would be certainly someone that has very strong technical background, for one, very strong sales and marketing in the retail side of things for startups, because it's very different to market for a brand like Coca-Cola versus a brand like Tricella. And also someone that's very strong with supply chain management that can actualize and help reduce costs as we're launching into the market.
Last question, what would you do differently, especially since now this is your second startup, what would you do differently now? What would you tell yourself now if you could go back to either the inception of this startup or the previous one?
I'd say I should learn how to code, because my Achilles heel is I'm very weak at software, and it's very hard for me to judge whether I'm working with a good software vendor or not, because I can't validate their code. On the hardware side of things, I understand tooling very well. I understand a little bit about electronics and the layouts, but at the end of the day, the user experience is purely software, right? So I guess I should learn how to code.